Outpost Gamma, a beacon of Federation research, was once a place of hope. Now, alarms screamed, painting its sterile corridors red. Dracor, a name whispered in fear, had arrived. Their sleek ships, black as night, blotted out the stars. Explosions rocked the station, each detonation a hammer blow against the Federation's heart.
Zara, report.
Dracor forces have breached sections 3 and 5. Their advance is relentless.
We need to establish a perimeter. Buy time for the evacuation.
Samantha, young and thrust into leadership, felt a chill grip her heart. She had trained for this, studied tactics, but nothing could prepare her for the raw terror of a live battle. Her eyes darted across the holographic displays, each flicker of light representing a life hanging in the balance. Samantha, drawing strength from Zara's experience, nodded, her resolve hardening. Samantha rallied her troops, her voice echoing through the comms.
For the Federation, we hold the line here.
Her words were met with a roar of defiance. The defense was a desperate struggle, a tapestry woven from laser fire and courage. Dracor's troops were relentless, their armor seemingly impervious to standard weaponry. Each fallen Federation soldier weighed heavily on Samantha's heart. The command center thrummed with tension, the air thick with the smell of ozone and fear.
Commander, they are deploying a suppression field. Our energy weapons are offline.
Panic welled up in Samantha's chest. Without their primary defense, they were sitting ducks.
There's a secondary armory on level 3, kinetic weapons. It's a long shot, but it might be our only chance.
Samantha knew Zara was right. They were running out of time.
I'll buy you time.
Before Zara could protest, Samantha was racing out of the command center, a new determination burning in her eyes. She could feel a strange energy thrumming within her, responding to the suppression field. As she ran, Samantha focused on that energy, channeling it, molding it to her will. She reached the main corridor just as a wave of Dracor soldiers rounded the corner. They opened fire, their weapons spitting energy beams. Samantha threw up her hands, the energy within her exploding outwards. A shockwave rippled through the corridor, throwing the Dracor soldiers back. The suppression field flickered, then died, bathing the corridor in blessed light. Samantha stared, stunned, at her hands. She had never been able to control her abilities like this before. But there was no time to contemplate. The Dracor soldiers were regrouping, their surprise replaced by cold fury. Samantha pressed her advantage, her energy blasts sending the Dracor soldiers reeling. But for everyone she struck down, 2 more seemed to take their place. The effort of maintaining the counterfield was taking its toll. Each pulse of energy left her weaker, her vision blurring.
Samantha, we're breaking through. Hold on.
Samantha gritted her teeth, pushing her powers to their limit. She could feel her strength fading, her body screaming in protest. Just when she thought she could hold on no longer, Zara and a squad of Federation soldiers crashed through the enemy ranks, their kinetic weapons blazing. The tide of the battle turned. The Dracor forces, caught off guard, were forced to fall back. Zara, her face a mask of concern, rushed to Samantha's side as the last of the enemy soldiers were cut down.
Easy, Commander, we're clear for now.
Samantha swayed, her legs threatening to give way. Zara caught her, her grip firm.
You did it. You saved us.
Samantha managed a weak smile, but deep down a chilling fear took root. What if it hadn't been enough? The command center was a scene of controlled chaos. The evacuation was underway, but it was a close thing. Too many good people were lost. Samantha watched as the last transport ship, its hull scarred by laser fire, limped away from the station. The weight of her responsibility pressed down on her. She had held Dracor at bay, but at a terrible cost. Reports flooded in, each one a punch to the gut. Casualties were high, and worse, Dracor had managed to seize a significant portion of the station's research data before retreating. Samantha sank into a chair, the enormity of their loss washing over her. She had never felt so alone, so utterly responsible for the lives and dreams shattered around her. She closed her eyes, trying to block out the images of destruction, the echoes of the screams.
They wanted to cripple us, Samantha.
Zara had joined Samantha, placing a comforting hand on her shoulder.
Hit us where it hurt most. The research, it was valuable.
It wasn't enough. I wasn't enough.
Doubt gnawed at her. She had discovered a power she never knew she possessed. But was it enough to turn the tide against Dracor? Was she strong enough to lead the Federation through this darkness?
You did what you had to do. You held them off long enough for the evacuation. Don't ever doubt that.
Her words were meant to comfort, but they rang hollow in Samantha's ears. The burden of leadership felt heavier than ever. The faces of the fallen, their names a litany of grief in her mind, haunted her. Could she bear the weight of this responsibility? Could she become the leader the Federation so desperately needed?
How do you do it? How do you keep going after seeing so much loss?
Zara's gaze drifted away, a flicker of something unreadable crossing her features.
It's not about forgetting the pain, Samantha. It's about carrying it with you, letting it fuel your resolve.
I understand.
She didn't understand. How could she? She was just a soldier, thrust into a role she never asked for. Zara seemed to sense her turmoil. She leaned back, her gaze distant, as if recalling a painful memory.
I wasn't always this strong. Years ago, I was stationed on a research outpost much like this one. We were attacked, overrun.
She paused, drawing a deep breath.
I was the only survivor.
The words hung in the air, heavy with unspoken grief. Samantha stared at her, speechless. She had heard whispers of Zara's past, but nothing concrete.
I wanted to give up. I blamed myself. I thought I wasn't strong enough, smart enough, that I failed them.
Her eyes met Samantha's, and in that moment, Samantha saw a reflection of her own pain.
But then I realized that giving up wouldn't bring them back. It wouldn't honor their sacrifice. So I picked myself up, dusted myself off, and I fought back. For them, for myself, for the future they fought to protect.
Samantha listened, her heart heavy, but a spark of understanding igniting within her. Zara's words, spoken with such raw honesty, resonated deep within her soul. She realized that leadership wasn't about being fearless. It was about facing your fears, your doubts, and finding the strength to keep going.
You're right. Giving up isn't an option. We will honor the fallen by fighting back. We will rebuild. We will not let Dracor win.
Zara smiled, a genuine smile that lit up her face.
That's the spirit, Commander.
She stood, offering Samantha a hand up. The weight of her responsibility hadn't lessened, but she no longer felt crushed by it. She had faced her fears, her doubts, and emerged stronger. The battle for the Federation was far from over, but Samantha was ready to lead the charge. She would honor the fallen, she would avenge their sacrifice. She would not rest until Dracor was defeated.